So, hmm. There's a big difference. I guess we don't get to see the anti-war protests in Russia like you did in America. People had no problem filling the streets, carrying signs saying, we're done with you guys, right? This war is unjust. The Vietnamese people don't want us there. The Afghanis don't want us there. The Iraqis don't want us there. There was always exterior motives for doing what was done. Even Saddam going down, it was just to dump his debt and to get money. It wasn't about it's always belonged to Iraq. That's stupid. That's damn stupid. I see again, I always end up going back to education. How to tell a lie from the truth. How to spot a lie. I think I read there was 182 different ways and dimensionalities to lie. The human race is so creative. So I'm watching this guy do surveys. He's walking through Moscow asking about do you think we're losing? What do you think? And I'm shocked at how many people that appeared to be normal and healthy thought that Russia was winning and will always win, and you can't beat Russia. We're the greatest army in the world. They were really under the impression that Russia had the greatest army in the world. And you compare that to Americans that were very patriotic, it was the same way. Oh, we'll beat Vietnam's ass. Well, you see, Vietnam was being supplied weapons by Russia, China in some cases. And you saw how that worked out for us. Not so well. Afghanistan and Iraq, how many people have broken their, blood and treasure on the mountains of Afghanistan? A lot of Russian people were completely unknowledgeable about the truth and how it sits. Whereas without a free press, these people were just like the American people when we were in Vietnam or Afghanistan going, yay, America. You see, this is what keeps war going. This is why the press is so important. It's why when you have somebody like Fox News that spreads anti-information, that spreads bad information, okay, that lies for profit and money because it sells commercials, that's why it is so devastatingly bad, and bad for your country, bad for the world, bad for, the nation. It's bad in every way. Doesn't serve anyone other than the Murdoch family. But there are people that will sit there completely fucking mesmerized by the hate that's spewed out because that's what they want. See? There's a difference between an uneducated Russian and the guy that's slathering at the fucking mouth to shoot brown people. There's a big difference. There's a difference between the American protesters in the 60s who had the ability to do it and Russian protesters who could go to jail for 15 years just for saying that Russia's in a war. Big difference. So see, I recognize what I was just shown on YouTube here as propaganda. You're showing me all these Russians that think Russia's winning the war. What do you think you accomplished with me? Do you think you convinced me that all Russians are stupid and don't know what's going on? No, you convinced me that the system that's in place there has kept these people from knowing the truth. It's not like they can't recognize the truth given proper information. See? But when the press is controlled by bad entities, no one is educated. You go to school to learn basically social skills. It's up to you to acquire an education. And if there's no motivation to do that, okay, then you'll have a stupid fucking population. That's all there is to it. The dumber, the better. When it comes to politics, they want the people dumber is better. Less educated is better. Because they won't make any waves, see? What that showed me was I put a thumbs down on the video and basically label it as misinformation because it's not the truth. See, Russians aren't bad any more than Americans are bad, or Iraqis, or anyone for that matter. Okay, look at the Iranian students that are willing to risk death to fight for their rights against Iran. Do you see Americans, you know what I mean, being hung for saying something that needs to be said for society's sake, for the good of the society, of the human condition? Yeah, see, that struck me as propaganda. This is how you tell a truth from a lie. Everything that was said in the video could be construed as the truth. It was how it was presented that was propaganda. Okay? It was presented. I mean, you didn't show me any of the Russians who said, "Yeah, I get my news from other sources than the state, and I know what's going on, and therefore I'm going to go to another country and get the fuck out of here," like a lot of them did. Okay? This is the problem. Those Russians are going to leave the country. They're going to go somewhere else where they're not wanted, evidently, from what I'm reading. And then when this is all over, they're going to go home without any fucking remorse whatsoever about what happened in Ukraine. Okay? That is the difference between Russians and Americans. Okay? We were protesting on behalf of the Vietnamese that it was an unjust war. We didn't want to see the little girls running down the street with skin hanging off from napalm attacks. And that was shown on national television. Okay? We didn't hide anything from the public. And the public had a chance to say its due. And everyone said, you can never defeat the Vietnamese people. It's been tried again. These people have been fighting, everyone wanting to take over their country for their own purposes for 1,000 years. It's Sun Tzu's The Moral Law. Okay? All of these people think that the Ukrainians were full of Nazis. Do you think they really believe that? Or do you think that they were told to believe that? They were told to believe that. They're not bad people. They're just ill or uninformed and have no means, usually, of finding the truth. I have a friend in China who uses VPNs and all kinds of shit to find out the truth, and he's not fooled at all. He's one of the most educated people I know. And kind and gentle, too, by the way. A very human being. Yeah, that was propaganda. I could have had. I know. Pretty much most of the people I know could have sat there and watched that and went, "Yeah, well, they would have had all this. That they would have been cruel in their understanding of why these Russian people thought what they did. They would have been their understanding of why they believed that would have been false and mean. This is a skill you probably learn too late in life. People, I've been around a long time. I have lived 3 different lives, and people say I don't look 70, but I'm over 70. So, yeah, I've learned a lot in my time here. Been places, done things that very few people in this world have done. Accomplishments that very, very few people in this world have done. I'm very proud of most of what I've done in my life. Some of the things I'm most proud of, I would consider dangerous and immature. But see, over my life, over my 70 years, I've learned many things, including what it's like to die. I've learned that religion is the anus of hate and control, that it's a cesspool of contradiction, lies, bigotry, hatred. Science, okay? Science can only take you so far. That's why Hemingway said that all intelligent men, okay, are atheists. And that is true, unless you've died and then took your whole life studying and trying to deny your experience, only to find that quantum mechanics, once it became mainstream and you were able to get your hands on some data and learn what they were learning, that it verified everything. And that's the day my job began, trying to tell you guys the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth of the life I've lived. To help you understand the truth when your government's fucking you or when they're helping you. I've seen both enough times where I think my opinion should be valued. There was a time when I was an opponent of nuclear power. Then there was a time when I was an absolute against nuclear power. And now I'm back saying that, with these new micro reactors that are like, it's like, looks like a beehive where these little reactors are all slipped in all together. And if you get one that's bad, you pull it out, you do maintenance, you put it back. There's no giant meltdown from a giant amount of fuel. Small, tiny, small. 8 feet tall. Okay? Small. Now I'm a proponent of that. So you continue to learn as you get older because technology and the world changes around you. But it's very hard to pull the wool over my eyes. One of the worst offenders have been cigarette companies and oil, big oil. Besides war, they are the biggest tragedies, and alcohol producers. They're the biggest tragedies of society and the human condition. I would say right up there on number 4 would have to be separation of wealth, the distribution of wealth on the planet. How um, it's truly horrifying and disgusting. Okay, it's beyond the pale. It really is. There's almost no way to describe it. Okay, and it shouldn't have happened. And the system that got put in place by people that were that way, they had billionaires' disease. They put that system in place long ago, and it stayed in place. It's reinforced because they own everything. The police, the army. Okay, they write the laws. Learning to tell the truth from the 182 different ways of lying is difficult. And it takes an education in a broad area of things. You can't be a specialist and be smart. I've known people that were brilliant in their field and couldn't, fucking plant a tomato plant. They couldn't lay down fiberglass or carbon fiber. You know what I mean? They didn't know anything about chemistry. Robotics completely fucking eluded them. Physics they couldn't understand, but they're, brilliant in their field. I guess that's just how life is. But you need a broad education so that when people tell you, oh, chemtrails, well, you can say, yeah, but see, I know a little bit about astronomy. And that throws your shit all out. Same thing with the flat earth. I happen to know just a tiny, tiny, tiny bit about, how the earth operates, how the solar system was formed, et cetera, et cetera. But if you don't know how the sun came about, if you don't know how the accretion disk formed around that ball of gas that was condensing, it goes all the way back. See, if you understand all of that, then you understand the world is round and why it's round. Okay? It's not that hard. If you want, like these Russians, to believe what you're told, that the world is flat because it gives you some sort of satisfaction, that's human nature. Those Russians, every last one of them, thought that they were winning the war, that Ukraine was full of Nazis, and that Russia had the greatest army in the world. They were absolutely convinced of that because that is what they're told every single night on the news. So, what good does it do to have Fox News propagating hate and hate and hate and hate and hate every fucking night, broadcasting that fucking bullshit over and over and over to the same audience over and over, making them all crazy? The majority of fucking these shooters, right? Especially under Trump's administration, we're all fucking Republican. We hate black and brown people. Now, that is the truth. I don't care what kind of patriot you are or whatever, okay? The man himself, just like Putin right now is destroying his country, Trump maybe helped us at the last moment here, has pulled the bandage off, and we're having to deal with the truth of how many Americans are actually fucking bigoted motherfuckers. Uneducated at that, okay? Because you have to be uneducated and hateful, okay? Or full of God, okay? To hate other people because of their culture or their color. It's fucking stupid, animalistic, okay? Two dogs at a fucking fence yelling at one another. That's what I see, right? I do talk about culture. It scares the shit out of people. Just like I'm starting to believe that these radical Muslim, what is it? Al Qaeda and those guys are just terrified of vaginas. That's what I'm starting to think, okay? That's why they don't want their women educated. Why? Because they already know that most of them are smarter than them. Okay, I feel better. I was very insulted by that. That was fucking propaganda. Okay, those Russian people aren't how they were presented. I'm seeing the Russian state is what I was seeing, and that's what he was showing me was the Russian state. He wasn't showing me Russian people. And I know this because I've grown up watching it. Again, I've been a student of war. I've always been attracted to it. I've always been drawn to conflict and studying it. That death, when I see death in war, it's treated as, when you watch old videos of the Nazi atrocities where they're basically bulldozing all these bodies into a trench and they're all, emaciated. And you see, I understood, even at a very, very, very young age after my near-death experience, that those were empty shells. Those were empty shells, and the miracle that had occurred with every one of those bodies wasn't thought about, talked about, understood, believed. I know Christians that believe when I say, okay, what's heaven like? And they really struggle to describe heaven. I don't. I died. I had a taste, just like other people have. When I say that, my mind runs this movie over here. My imagination is just studying this film over and over again, trying to glean out little pieces of information. Yeah, I'm pretty much done with YouTube. I'm starting to see more and more propaganda, more and more of this type of thing. Videos for demonstration purposes only or whatever, educational. Oh, we're not glorifying war. And then it's an opinion host. It's an opinion host. You're not talking to you're making all these assumptions. You're basically telling me your side of the story and then flashing random fucking pictures. Over here, this person is yakking like this, talking about Abrams tanks, and they're showing surface-to-air missile systems. Excuse me? Well, were you talking to me? Because it's supposed to be audio visual, and I'm getting what I'm getting here is just fucking pictures flashed in my face like, don't look away from the screen. Propaganda. That's what it looks like. If you're just going to flash random pictures at me and then give me your view of what's going on, that's not going to work. See? You can give me your side of it and show me your face, like I do here. Then I might be able to believe you or not. I'll believe you feel that way. And then I will use my tiny little skills of deduction and education to figure out if you're telling me the truth or not. This is why I don't lie to you guys, because over time, a liar can never keep his shit together. He always ends up tripping himself up. For 15 years on the Gamers page, everyone that went there, they know I never lied to them, not one time. They never caught me in a lie, and they never caught me saying something that I didn't repeat a fucking decade later to the word. This is one of the things that have really made my experience, one of my ventures here at YouTube, enjoyable for me, is the therapy. It's not just the bridge that for me to contact certain people. It turned out to be a fucking therapy tool for me. I actually benefited from it in a very rich way. I enjoyed it a lot. I've enjoyed how it allowed me to grow and to change. But now it's become something else. Okay, the literally non-fucking stop commercials. Literally non-stop. I mean, it's like 3 minutes of something and then fucking ads. Yes, they're only 5 seconds long. Yes, you can stop the next one by saying skip. Okay. But it's just when it comes on, I have not let a commercial finish here in the last 2 weeks. The very second a commercial comes on, click, I'm out of there, and I'll watch the first 30 seconds of a video and get everything I need out of it. Maybe that, what was that? The failed short video thing. Oh, damn it. See, I guess I only remember what I want to remember. Be careful when you're watching this. Be careful when you're watching YouTube and if you don't, it's like anything else. Taken in small amounts over a short period of time, it's okay, right? But if you start watching it because it's satisfying something in you, okay, that's dangerous. Because then you'll be led that direction by the AI, and it'll take you down a fucking rabbit hole you can't climb out of, like people that I knew. Next thing you know, you actually believe you can't go to South America, or the South Pole. You can't go to the South Pole because they won't let you. And you see, I always ask the question, why? Not a single fucking one of them has an answer to that simple question. Well, why did they do that? Why can you not go down there? Now, you either have to say one of two things, okay? Either it doesn't exist, okay? Or they don't want you to find the wall. The wall that holds in all the water. The wall of ice that circles this flat disk that keeps the oceans from rolling over into space. And most will stop just shy of doing that. Some have actually gone the whole way and went, oh yeah, because the world's flat. But that's an extreme example, okay? These people in Russia, the guys went, 2 people, and edited, and I don't know how many, maybe he did talk to people who said, no, we're getting our ass handed to us. I have ways of getting my information outside of Russian television. But he didn't show that. They didn't show that. The woman narrating it, okay, didn't show that. There's a lot of those right now. There's probably about 20 very prominent producers that are using random flashing pictures and then feeding you a line of information that they consider to be the truth. No facts or figures being shown, no sources or nothing, just a guy speaking telling you this is how shit is. Okay? Always be careful of that.